better. Two dudes watch cartoons. Two dudes watch cartoons.
Welcome back to Two Dudes Watch Cartoons, the podcast where two dudes, that is us, watch cartoons. My name is Evan.
And my name is Alex, and thank you for joining us once again on another great episode. We got a good one here. I'm very excited to talk about this. I think we have a lot of things to cover with this movie in particular. But before we get into any of that, we are joined by one of Evan and myself's best friends from college here, Courtney Jessup. Courtney, how are you? Ooh, that's my first time saying Courtney Jessup. I prepped before. Courtney is married now, but so congrats, by the way. Yeah.
It was weird typing it in.
Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience a little?
Hi, Courtney Jessup as of June, which is weird. This is like the first official thing I've put that on. Nice. I don't even know if I've changed Facebook or anything like that yet. So,
you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Well, great. We're excited. This one was not our original topic. We had a good one. We were going to do Harley Quinn, but it's coming out week by week. Mm-hmm. And I started Harley Quinn, though, for that podcast. Yeah. I started Harley Quinn for that podcast. Really good. I can't wait to finish it. And I can't believe what I've been missing out on. What a great piece of DC property they have there. But instead of that, so we're not covering Harley Quinn. I don't know why I'm getting into that. That's not what we're talking about.
What not to expect.
Yeah. False expectations here. So we are going to talk about how to train your dragon. Now, okay, I am excited for this for one reason and one reason only. So I want to get this out of the way while we start. I like this movie. I really like this movie. It has so many really strong things, but I will say the internet is obsessed with this movie. I read several things online of people calling it the perfect movie.
I read that.
Yep. And so I'm curious to get your guys' takes on this, and I want to dissect what we think could possibly actually make this the greatest. People were calling it the greatest animated film. People were calling it the greatest film. I read some crazy outlandish things when looking up this movie.
So this came out in 2010. Which was the year I graduated high school. Mm-hmm. Toy Story 3 was the big blockbuster hit. I was always more of a Pixar guy myself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How to Train Your Dragon lost Best Animated, the Oscar for it, to Toy Story 3 that year. It didn't fly under the radar. Obviously, it's critically acclaimed. It's very popular, but I feel like it just did not... I didn't know it was this big of a movie. I don't know that I even watched it that year. I don't think I actually saw it until college on TV or something, so...
I saw it in
pleasant
college.
Surprise, yeah.
I'm going to thank our good friend Brandon Thrall. He was the first ever person who was like, this movie's amazing. And I was like, really? I was like, okay. So I watched it. And like I said, I like and I enjoy this movie. But I'm so curious what really, people are obsessed with this movie, though.
I think, honestly, I saw toys or blankets with Toothless on it. And, okay, I'm going to say this, and I don't know if you guys are partial to these types of animals, but I think you guys know I'm pretty obsessed with cats. Oh, yeah. Toothless gives me, and we'll probably talk about it, gives me a lot of cat vibes. Even just his ears and his expression, his eyes, I was like, ooh, I mean, I love dragons too, but there's something intriguing about Toothless and just... his facial expressions and how expressive he is just reminded me of one of my favorite creatures, so I was intrigued about it. I think that's really how I got into the movie.
The voice cast is pretty stellar as well, especially for that time. I was looking through who stars in it. Jay Baruchel. I've never said his last name out loud.
I was like, I'm not going to say his last name.
Baruchel.
Oh wow! Now you guys are making me. I think I've always said Jay Baruchel. Now you have me second guessing it. So. He's notably from the movie This Is the End, or what, the one where they're all playing themselves.
That is not what I was thinking of. I thought of that Sorcerer's Apprentice.
That's not even the second, third, or fourth one I was about to go to with him. What
I don't know. This was obviously number one. Sorcerer's Apprentice is what I was thinking.
I was gonna go to. She's Out of My League, which is an alright movie.
Yeah.
And then the one that is actually hilarious is on FX. It's a sketch comedy show. It's called Man Seeking Woman. And that was where I really got introduced to him. And it's unfortunate because now I can only hear his voice from that show. And so when I was rewatching this, I was I can only picture like a very spineless punk who's like...
Man Seeking Woman, great show. Highly recommend it. The one that is such a throwback for me on the voice cast, Gerard Butler. Man, 2010, this was his era. He was an A-lister. He was up there with like The Rock at the MTV Awards and shit. And now he just does movies that are called Olympus Has Fallen or like random shit like that about different landmarks being taken over by terrorists.
He was just in Thor. Wasn't he just in Thor Love and Thunder?
No, he was not. That was Russell Crowe.
Oh my God! Not me having egg on my face.
He's probably like 20 years older than him. Like,
Oops. I apologize to any Gerard Butler fans out there.
I mean, you have a small section of like Scottish actors, so I guess.
So we're gonna get into one of my only complaints with the movie. The older generation all have super thick accents, and all of the children.
I was like, did they move? Like, no, they didn't, because they say at the beginning they've been there for 7 generations. Yeah, why do they have Scottish accents and no one else?
I loved it though, because they were some of their conversations. That was where it was noticeable, when it was Jay talking with his dad, and I was like, he's not a Scottish Viking. He's like a stoner.
So
what is going on?
And the guy he's like an apprentice for, like his is super thick too.
It's great.
So
for a second, we just watched Luck on Apple TV, which I don't recommend.
No.
But for a second, I thought that character was voiced by Simon Pegg doing a Scottish accent, but it's actually Craig Ferguson. Who was a long-time host of the Late Show, I think.
Yeah.
Whatever, the Late Show.
Really famous. Speaking of our podcast about luck, it quickly became our most popular podcast of all time. I don't know how that happened, but so that's exciting. If you haven't listened to it for some reason, go give it a listen. It's just like an hour and a half of me and Evan just shitting on this movie. So that's just a fun fact. But back to How to Train Your Dragon. So the voice cast, let's run through some more of them, because I thought that was like extremely phenomenal. Who, because I didn't look, I don't like to look it up beforehand. I like to be surprised and let them come to me. Who was the most surprising to you guys?
Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, I mean, she's obviously like SNL, so she's always have to put on different voices and stuff.
Didn't even sound like her.
That one, no, everyone else sounded the same. Jonah Hill, the guy who plays McLovin, totally didn't change their voices.
No.
Her, I like looked it up too, and I was like, oh, took me back. I was like, okay, sure.
She voices one of 2 twins alongside TJ Miller. What a huge disparity in like fame level, though.
I had
He's
to look
also
him up
in
too.
She's Out of My League, and then
Is he?
he's a voice actor from Gravity Falls, which Evan still refuses to watch, even though that's part of.
I've watched a couple. I've probably slept through the whole series by now, but I've never finished it. He's in Deadpool. He's the bartender.
Oh yes, that's probably what he's most.
And
famous
Silicon
for.
Valley is huge.
Oh, and you know what? Silicon Valley's really funny.
America Ferrera plays Astrid, who is the love interest.
Okay.
Has she done anything? But this is so mean. Besides Ugly Betty.
Oh,
That
I
supermarket
had a
comedy.
What'd you say?
Oh,
What's it called?
Superstore.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Superstore.
That's it.
Ready for this, guys? That was not either of the ones I was thinking of. Isn't she in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants?
Okay, yeah, like 10, 15 years ago. We're talking about recent.
I don't know why. That's where I think of her from. I saw the name, and that was instantly where my head went. And you guys just named like 2 way more popular things she was in.
I don't know if I'd call supermarket. I almost said sweep. That's totally different.
Yeah.
Supermarket, whatever, like more popular than Sisterhood.
I always see ads for it. It looks funny.
Yeah, I never watched it.
When I was quarantining before The Circle, and I had only Netflix, and I literally couldn't leave this apartment in Manchester, I watched an ungodly amount of TV, and I picked it up and I watched like half the season, but I didn't finish it. It's funny. It is funny.
Yeah.
There's like funny moments, but it didn't captivate me. Moved on to Malcolm in the Middle.
David Tennant is on the voice cast.
That was
David
another
Tennant.
one. He was maybe one of the ones I was most surprised about because David Tennant it's a very star-studded cast for Jay to be the lead. Like, what is going on there? Who is it a nepotism thing? I don't know where Jay got this job. I don't have no offense to him. He's good, but
Yeah.
like, come on.
He's definitely the least popular of anyone.
That's what I'm
on this
saying.
voice cast. I would have loved to see the payroll.
This man has led like 3-4 movies, whatever, probably more. And he is like sometimes the least popular person in the movie. How does he do that?
Famous
guess
friends? I
that's
don't
why.
know.
I'm guessing nepotism.
Isn't he Canadian though? Like, what would his connections to? How high
you're
up
right.
do they rank in
How high up
Hollywood?
does Seth Rogen really go? No, yeah, you're right. So,
I mean, these days, pretty high.
yeah, that's a good point. I was shocked he wasn't in this movie. Like, it was a bunch of his friends, I felt like.
For sure.
I was gonna say we should check the sequels and see.
Yeah, right? He maybe makes an appearance.
So
wait,
it's
you bring up a good point where before we even get into any plot of this movie, another thing that just proves like how popular this movie is that I feel like I totally got glossed over. This movie has 2 sequels and it has 5 straight to DVD releases and a TV show. Huh? What? Where is all this How to Train Your Dragon popularity that just completely went over my head?
And I think it's like people our age and maybe older
is.
Gen Z because
It
it's not
is.
little kids. Like
No.
when I saw the toothless blanket, it was at a girl's house that's a year older than me. So
I feel like this must have been the gap between like Toy Story and like
yeah.
Frozen. I don't know that Pixar had a huge hit between. Maybe I don't know. I'm just making sure.
You're speculating.
But I'm
Evan's
speculating
completely
here.
speculating.
But yeah, it's like
No
a
fact.
window I completely missed. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
what I was doing in those years.
I don't know. I missed it too. I didn't see it till late college. So let's set up a bit of the plot. We went over the voice cast. We talked about it. They're in a village, a Viking village, and they've been there 7 generations. I think that's about like a setting wise. Do we know where we are in the world? Did they say the name?
Well,
Oh.
12 days north of hopeless and a
Oh, yeah.
few degrees south of freezing to death was one of my favorite lines.
It
and
was
it's right at the
it's
beginning.
like the first line.
Yeah, it's this village that is plagued by. I love how they frame them as like pests, dragons that will steal their livestock, and they like it opens up with like a pretty intense raid on the village. It's Jay Baruchel introducing the village, introducing all the characters. My immediate thought though, he names like 6 or 7 different characters. I was like, this is too many people to keep track of already.
And then we get a fight right out of the gate. I do like, so I don't know the proper term for this, but you would say like the personification if you're like giving something like human traits. I love how they really give dragons so many animal traits. Like you said, like they're pests on their society, and it's just like you got to go swat a fly, but instead they have to go fight dragons instead.
They're less on a pedestal, and they're just like a part of the world, which is pretty cool, as opposed to like a Game of Thrones where it's like it's the highlight of the episode as you see a dragon, but it's very normalized in the Viking village. But what's his character's name? Hiccup.
Hiccup.
Hiccup. I wanted to ask about this. What do you guys think of this name? He gave so sorry, I'm laughing. He gave a reason. He was like a name that instills fear. But like I feel like hiccups, you're supposed to be scared to get rid of them. I don't know. The metaphor was completely lost on me. It was such an interesting name, and every time they said it, I was just like, wow, his name's really Hiccup.
I mean, on the same note, though, back to those twins. I can't even. Tough Nut and Rough Nut? Would you rather be Hiccup or Tough Nut or Rough Nut?
No, yeah, I'd be Hiccup. Yeah, if I had to pick one of the 3.
Yeah, and then Craig Ferguson's character's name is Gobber. The naming could have been stronger, I think.
It
Yeah.
looks like Goober. And so that's one thing with this movie is there are scenes like the opening scene where they're killing dragons and dragons are burning down the village and they're really terrifying. But then, yeah, you get characters that are named Goober and Tough Nut. And like, so there's like some really stark differences between like serious moments and like goofy moments. But with the Viking backdrop, it's interesting because we don't get a whole lot of, besides like the TV show that I think is literally called Vikings, we don't get a whole lot of Vikings in media. And, real quick, computer animation. This is all computer animated. I actually think this is on. I feel like computer animation is sometimes I will poo-poo on it. This was actually very well done for computer animation. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of
13 years
facial
ago.
expressions. You could tell what people were thinking in their eyes, which on the opposite end of computer animation, when it's rushed, is the opposite of that.
Your luck reference, your luck episode.
Yeah.
I was this close from saying it again. I was like, I'm
I
gonna
got
bring up
you.
luck one more time.
For 12 years prior to it, it still looks better.
Right.
You know,
It's way better.
it looks dated at this point, but
Yeah.
it's been 12 years since it came out, so you can't hold it against them. I feel like I must have just slept on DreamWorks for all these years. Like,
Me, I do too. I'm guilty. Like you
Yeah.
said, Pixar through and through. Usually,
Pixar
when it
has
comes
the
to
name,
animated. Yeah,
the branding.
the nostalgia.
The nostalgia.
Literally, DreamWorks. I only think of Shrek, and well, obviously now Drag or How to Train Your Dragon. But yeah,
They have more. They have more hits? Prince of Egypt.
sure.
Is that them?
it is them.
Yeah, random.
I can't think of
guess I
any
never
others if I'm being
attributed it,
honest.
yeah.
Though I'm like very stuck. Wow, DreamWorks is
Kung Fu
struggling.
Panda. No, Kung Fu Panda is them.
That's a
and-
yeah.
Yes, yes,
But man,
yes.
they are a sequel type of group. Think of how many Kung Fu Pandas we have now. When
And
something
TV
works
shows.
with them, and Shreks. Oh my God, yeah, wow. When something works with
Yes.
them, they will milk it dry.
Yeah.
We see you, DreamWorks.
I don't
We
know
could-
that I've seen 2 and 3 of How to Train Your Dragon. Have
Oh,
either
I
of you?
know I haven't seen 2 and 3. So I can assure you, I don't know anything about them. Although, ready for this, after my viewing of it today, I would definitely go see 2. 3, that's probably stretched it too far. The further you get away from the original, the less and
Right.
less. It's always, here's my test with these sequels. How much of the original voice cast came back?
That's a good test.
That's a good test. If it's most, means
Well, we
they
know
really
Jay
bought
is.
in.
Jay's probably coming back.
You
What
know
else is
Jay's
he
coming
doing?
back. This is his check. This is his bread and butter.
Gerard Butler.
saw-
Maybe.
Yeah, probably. He hasn't done much work. I saw like a thumbnail of maybe one of the direct-to-TV or DVD sequels, and it's like Hiccup, and I can only assume is Astrid with like kids, and Hiccup's got a beard. I was like, that's... Your franchise has gone on too long. You got a whole another generation going.
Shrek has babies. Shrek and Fiona have
That's
babies
true.
now too.
I haven't seen those
Like you
ones,
said,
so
they're
maybe-
milking it.
Yeah, maybe
They're
that's when
milking
I'm
it.
out.
Wow.
It's like...
DreamWorks is like we're only into the generational sort of sequels that we have. Wow, that is wild to think about. So Hiccup grows up and is a big Viking. Okay, but at the start of this movie, he is like the furthest thing from a Viking. His dad like pretty openly insults him to his face about it. It's a pretty funny scene. He's like, "We need less of." He goes, "You just gestured to all of me." it's pretty good. Like those lines are where you really appreciate Jay as like the guy hitting him. But so I did appreciate that he nailed most of the character for me.
The characterization definitely tracks to who Jay Baruchel is in real life, because he's kind of like a shrimpy dude. No offense, I love Jay, but
Yeah.
lanky. That's how I'll describe him.
It's almost like imagine a sketch of actual Jay, like real life, in a Viking village, and everyone has the accents and the beards, and they're huge, and it's just Jay, and he's trying to be a Viking too.
So is it during this initial raid that Jay manages to hit Toothless, the Night Fury?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Night Fury.
And I'm guessing that's what clips him when we get to that bit. Clips his tail.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would. Oh my God, that makes so much sense. Yeah, so he.
I had to guess that. They don't really tell you though.
No,
Yeah.
but that makes
Rewatched
sense because
it-
he was flying perfectly fine
Yeah.
before. Okay, I didn't. Yeah, they never. So Toothless, the night. That's another thing. They list off a bunch of characters, and then they literally list off a bunch of dragons too, like different
Yes.
dragons. I was like, whoa, we got a lot of exposition going on in the first 5 minutes of this film, and so then we get the most fastest and dangerous dragon of them all that they've never seen. Oh, now I forgot the name.
The Night Fury.
Night Fury.
The Night Fury. Thank you. I almost said Night Walker. I was this close to
I
saying.
thought you were gonna say Night Watch, so that's okay.
Yeah, that would have been bad. So it's fast as fuck, and it just destroys things in the blink of an eye, and it's pretty cool, and it leaves like a purple flash when it makes contact.
Cool.
But Jay, excuse me, Hiccup, I'll call him by his Viking name. He's got a contraption, and he actually hits a dragon this time, and I feel so bad. And his dad literally literally calls him, I think, the boy who cried wolf. Like, he's done this before. He's like, oh yeah, I killed a dragon somewhere over there.
He's constantly emasculated by the village or condescended to. It's a tough spot for them. You really sympathize with his character. He just wants to prove his worth. But I love that that's what establishes his bond with Toothless when he ends up finding him, is like they're both kind of these wounded puppies at this point.
Yeah. Good metaphor.
Yeah, it's a nice relationship. I like it.
Yeah.
Wounded dragon.
Yeah. So he wraps him up in the thing, and Toothless goes down, and at any high speed, it's going to cause damage. And as we just pieced it together, Toothless sustains an injury to back fin. Yeah, the back fin of the dragon. And I mean, just skipping great ahead, like what a trope, like healing a wounded predator back to health. Like
That's one of my favorites, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it
That's
like
the animal
really
lover.
tugged on my heartstrings, and I was like, oh my God, I'm such an animal lover. I was like, I'm feeling such sympathy for a made up dragon right now.
It's the eyes. It's those green eyes, though. Oh.
Yeah, and it's got you hit the nail on the head. It has so many cat mannerisms, and it's literally like a giant lion with wings that breathes fire, like the way it moves, and its tail and it wraps its tail around itself. It's cute. It's just
Ears
adorable.
go up and down. Oh,
Do they have a in-story explanation for like why Toothless's teeth retract? Is there like a
I thought it was like a
evolutionary
metaphor.
advantage?
No, I thought it was a metaphor. It was a metaphor for like when he's fighting, you see the fangs, and the Vikings are always fighting the dragons, so they see the fangs all the time. But when they're just like chilling, he's literally toothless. Like he's not a danger at all.
I like
But
that.
You're right. They never offered an explanation. I took it as a metaphor, the toothless thing.
yeah, I like that.
I do love all the dragon lore that they build. They've got a whole catalog of them. It
Stats.
felt very,
You
it
know
felt very
they-
Pokemon to me. Just like-
You know they have a book, especially like they monetize that, and they're selling it.
yeah.
And adults our age are buying it.
I wonder if so, like how we're all like, what's your Harry Potter house? Or what, blah, blah, blah. There's like people who are like, what kind of dragon do you ride? Like, do you do the two-headed one or the night fury?
There's at least a Reddit forum.
I was gonna say that. Always is.
There's always a Reddit.
There's a community.
Yeah.
There's a subreddit out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, hey, we're here. Let's do it now. What dragon do you guys want to ride? Which one? You don't need to name it by name. Give a physical descriptor of it.
Okay, come on. I gotta go with the cutest one that reminds me of a cat.
Yeah, you can.
That's
Yeah,
not
that's
fair.
fair.
That's the main one. But the next one,
You can
honestly,
take- There's no rules. You can take whatever one you want.
probably that one. It reminds me of a cat.
Yeah. Evan?
What's the one they fight in the arena? Like they train with the big gumpy one with a giant gullet.
Like a snout almost.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a.
The big
Yeah,
fat
he
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. I would really like the two-headed one, but I don't like where the twins were riding it. Like I feel like
No.
that's not where I would ride it. Like I want to be back more. I have no idea why. That was so weird to me.
And they're like crisscrossing.
I
like,
know. I couldn't stand it. I was like, move back.
But could you imagine doing that with your sibling? No.
Mm-hmm.
Hard pass. Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
They're very close. They're twins.
I thought it would have been cool if Hiccup's dad ended up riding the giant fucking dragon.
That would have been
they
excellent.
fight at the end. Why not?
That's his dragon
Hiccup,
at the
Hiccup
end.
knows all the tricks. Why can't you tame that one?
We're just getting to the end here, but I have to say the whole point of the movie was Hiccup was like, no, don't kill dragons. But then the solution was they literally killed the big dragon at the end. I was like, oh, are they going to save this dragon somehow? Nope.
Destroy it from the inside. The most painful death.
I screamed. I was like, the whole message was we need to stop killing these dragons.
Yeah.
Just one more. Just one more.
That's what the dad was like, but one more? And he's like, yeah, one more, Dad. And that's how they bonded. Like, common enemy much?
Right. I mean, you do have to kill one dragon to become an official Viking. So there you go,
that's-
Hiccup.
Oh,
Wow.
and then he does. That's how he's able to grow the beard later in the other ones, Evan, is he became an official Viking officially.
I forget if they said something along the lines of like the reason the dragons are stealing the livestock is to feed the big fucker at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big fucker was eating the other dragons if they didn't bring it a constant supply of food.
Yeah.
Really toxic relationship. They like really bad stuff.
I mean, also as an animal lover, pretty, I don't know if gruesome's the word to use, but like pretty traumatizing to see the little fat, cute one get eaten.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, it was not great. But the big one was terrifying. When he was like submerged,
Yes.
it was terrifying. And then even when it erupted, it was fucking terrifying.
More scared of that one than any Game of Thrones dragon.
For real, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't watched House of Dragons, so no spoilers, please.
What?
I started it and I took a nap. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. So, like Evan was saying, the whole plot of this movie was Hiccup is feeling very outside his community. He isn't into the whole fighting dragon thing. And then not only that, but he ends up befriending a wild dragon who's injured and in like I love their little, cove? Like their meeting place. It's adorable. It's like somehow they took this Viking story and like it's like an old school Disney movie. Like if you replace this with like a deer and just like a human, like it's like a totally different story. We have to stop hunting the deer. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's totally
No more shooting Bambi.
Exactly. And so they have this beautiful little cute cove where they meet. Where just the two of them. It's their cute little old spot where the two of them meet. And obviously, at first, there's animosity. What sort of dragon and human, are going to start being friends? But just like any wild animal, you give it food, and it's kind of cool with you.
Like I said, with cats, you have to earn their respect.
Yes.
And it's usually done with food.
Yeah.
As a cat owner.
And the same worked here. He brought one fish, and then he just brought a whole bunch of other fish.
Cutest moment in the movie for me is when Toothless flashes a smile at him for the first time, and it's really ugly at first, and like it's trying to learn how to.
I audibly awed. It was so cute because and it's just the gums, and you're like, whoa, and then you're like,
Oh, such a good one.
Okay, so cutest moment, is it that, or is it when Jay/Hiccup finally is able to put his hand on Hiccup for the first moment, or no, those are probably the two cutest. I can't think of a third one.
The smile one, though.
Smile
okay.
one gets me.
Okay.
It does.
Mine
Me
didn't
too.
even. Yeah, okay. Yours is the
Yours
best.
is shit.
That's fine.
Yeah. We don't fucking like it.
I love that dynamic, and then Astrid is kind of onto him. She sees him sneaking off. There's some cute little antics where they have to
She
sneak
knows
around at
something's
night.
up. What would you call like their dragon school?
It's like a gladiator arena. They literally have to fight dragons in a Thunderdome.
In a cage, yeah.
Yep.
It's a cage match dragon Thunderdome led by Goober. And they just train. And so he goes from zero to hero because, and I really like this. This is a nice message. Just the whole, like, there's other ways to do things sometimes. They all were just like, they all had the solution. Like, this is how you take on this dragon. There's a blind spot. This is what you do for this. But from hanging out with Toothless and learning from Toothless and just doing all the whatevers of a normal cat/dragon, he learned like different tricks to subdue all the dragons, and he quickly becomes like the cool guy in class.
The dragon whisperer.
The dragon whisperer.
He's like Aang with Firelord Ozai, just refuses to kill him.
Great comparison. All right, so where were we going before this? That's why Astrid
meeting.
catches on. That's why Astrid was on to him, because Astrid was like, okay, where are you learning all this shit from, you idiot?
You didn't get it from the book.
Nothing pisses off the naturally gifted as when the non-naturally gifted start succeeding. In any sort of movie, that you can be sure they're going to be pissed. But she doesn't stay pissed for long. She follows him. And, I guess at this point in the movie, we should get into... So, this is not a long movie by any means, but so much of it is spent on just flying montages.
But I kind of love that.
No,
I
they're
don't know.
good.
Yeah.
But once you get past that, you're just like, oh yeah, there's gonna be some flying montages. You can really start to enjoy them. But I guess by this point Courtney, describe what is this contraption that he has built for Toothless. It's great.
Yeah, so
Hiccup
it's
and
like
Toothless. Like what
he's like when they're in their little Disney Cove thing, he notices he can't get out, and when he's sitting there kind of sketching out his body type, he sees that like he's missing this fin, and if aerodynamics come into play, it's probably an important part of flying. So he notices that, and then he goes and uses his skill set as an apprentice and engineers this fin wing thing, whatever you want to call it. And it's kind of heartfelt because he can't just put the fin on his tail. He's got to be there too to help him fly. So that's how they kind of build their bond too.
Well said. There's some heartfelt because it's a two-man job. If he's going to fly now, he really needs someone
They're
there.
dependent on each other.
What I really liked about this is, like you said, just the metaphor of it is like they not only become friends, but they become like very more than friends. I don't want to say that because that sounds weird as a non-human and a human, but like
it's a symbiotic relationship.
They really become connected. And, you know, we're probably skipping over it because it's a lot of visual medium, but there's a lot of really great flying montages, and it makes any sane person in their life be like, man, I wish I could fucking fly through the clouds. So it's I can see why people enjoy the movie for that.
Random bit of trivia. They brought on famous cinematographer Roger Deakins to help with the visuals of the movie. He's behind Blade 2049. He's a really famous cinematographer.
On How to Train Your Dragon? What?
I know, right?
Probably because of, you know, it relies on like, I mean, does it rely on it? But a lot of it is these flying montages and making that look visually exciting. That being said, Astrid is, most people in this movie, most of the Vikings, do a quick about face as soon as they learn they can ride a dragon. They're like,
100%.
100 centuries long. Yeah.
I can fly them? It's like, that's probably how relationships with horses realistically evolve too, is they would probably kill horses all the time. They're like, oh shit, I could ride this motherfucker? Okay, yeah, round them up. They're all good. They're not going to die anymore.
It takes Astrid one magic carpet ride, and she's like, I'm in. Cool.
Don't forget the score playing in the background. That just gives you a little tearjerker.
Yeah.
It's really good, but it's hard to take Jay sometimes seriously in these serious moments. So they're flying, and like Toothless is being a dick at first because he doesn't like Astrid. And Jay at one point, and this is probably my least favorite line of the thing, he goes, Toothless, we really need her to like us. I was like, not this, Jay. You could have delivered that with so many different ways. Or just not said it.
Right.
Yeah. I don't remember much of the plot of. I mean, I know like the main plot points. It's like Secret Cove, and then he gets discovered, I guess, because is it Astrid who reveals him? Oh no, it's in his final training battle.
Another gripe. So he gets chosen in class to kill a dragon in front of the whole village. It's a great honor. Like you should be really like.
For anyone else, it would be a good honor. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. All PETA-isms aside, like it's the honor of their village, but he has adopted a no-kill policy, which is honorable, but it's revolutionary to these people. It would, I mean, the best way to compare it would be like if your home was being overrun by lions occasionally, you would shoot the lions. You know what I mean? Like not to be a dick, but like you would stop them from doing that at all costs until you found something better. And that's what he has done. And this is another big gripe I have here is he had a couple opportunities to talk to his dad. His dad went away on a trip, and that's when all these shenanigans kind of went down. And, I'm just now realizing is he a single father? That's noble of him as well. I don't think we ever meet his mother.
Well, before he goes into this fight, he offers him up, because he's so proud of him for being the one chosen, he offers him up a helmet that is made from his mother's breastplate.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He did say that. I totally.
So we can assume she's not there.
What a weird gift.
Son, here's your mother's breastplate. She had giant knockers.
That's what he's saying. He's
it fits over his head, so you could only,
Oh my God.
She was probably a giant woman, yeah. I mean, his dad's pretty big.
One thing that's hilarious to me is the dad is so big, he will have to squeeze in through doorways. And I was just like, most of the men in this village are that big. Why are the doorways built like this?
And they like always have to make new houses, so why wouldn't you make them new adjust be yourself?
Oh, you know what? I feel so stupid now, but one of the first lines is he's like, we've lived here for 7 generations, but all the homes are newly built. And I didn't understand that till just now.
burning.
It's because the dragons keep burning them down.
Come on.
I feel dumb. Okay.
Oh man.
I like noticed the line and then totally got lost. And I meant to like come back to it.
The relationship between him and his dad is nice, and that's sort of his moral dilemma through the movie is like his father's approval is super important to him, but it is also wrapped up in his ability to kill dragons, which he has now sworn off.
His dad literally goes, now that you're killing dragons and being a Viking, we finally have something to talk about. And then it's dead silent. And I was like, oh, Dad should have gotten everything he needed to know right out of that silence. The thing is, so Hiccup is, so Hiccup has opportunities to really not make this as big of a deal as it becomes. Instead of revealing in front of the whole town, like on stage performing, just talk to your dad a day or two before you have to do this and explain what's up. Like, why
His
shock
dad
the
was
world?
that intimidating that he literally had to wait until this
He had to
moment. I
show
don't
him,
know.
I guess. Yeah, and so he decides to, in front of the whole town, prove that dragons are friendly. They can't believe it.
You see, because the other dragon's starting to attack. I almost said Jay. Thanks a lot, Brizard. Hiccup and Toothless, because they have such a bond, like senses that the other villagers don't realize that Toothless is there to protect him from danger. And it's heart-wrenching. They
You're
don't
right.
make that connection.
Totally
When they-
forget this part of it.
When they fucking pin Toothless to the ground, put like a knee on his
I
head,
hate that.
it was
bad.
awful.
This is like the low point in the movie. Toothless gets captured by his dad and the villagers. Luckily not killed. Oh, you know what? They have training dragons. They're like, throw them in with the rest of them. But it is such like it's the ultimate act of this friendship, this symbiotic relationship they've come to. Is Toothless jumps in and is like, he can't die. Like, I love him. And so it's great. It's so good. And he accidentally spills to his dad about the giant nest of dragons, which they've been looking for years. And he goes, you got to be a dragon to get there. Like, only dragons know where to go. And so, there's just some lines I have problems with. And so they just decide to use Toothless as like a dragon radar. It worked, though. That's the worst part is it worked. I hate it, but it
Right.
worked. Yeah.
His neck, like his head's going
Yeah.
this way. He's like trapped on the boat. It's like twitching
I feel like
to the left.
people who get like those wishbone sticks or whatever, they're like, this will point to water. I feel like that's what they were literally trying to do with this. And it was like, it worked.
Okay, not to poke a hole in anything we've established already on the pod, but Toothless does manage to fly to Hiccup's rescue when he's in the arena on
No,
his
he
own.
ran.
No, he ran.
Oh, did he really?
He sprinted.
He tries to fly, then he sprints.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
My
No,
recollection is shit.
Nice
You're
try,
right.
you
It
hole
was a
poker.
fast-paced scene.
Thought I had a gotcha.
You think DreamWorks How to Train Your Dragon didn't think of
Yeah.
that, you dumb idiot?
Bulletproof, right?
Hey, look at the cast and crew. They hired the best writers for this movie. So, they get to Dragon Island? What is this place?
Oh gosh,
What is this place?
Dragon Island, the nest.
The nest. Yeah, it's the nest of dragons. It's where Giganta dragon lives that eats the other ones if they don't bring in enough food. But ready for this? Like I said, this is a toxic relationship. Are you ready for this? Dragons, live somewhere else. Leave. You can fly. Go. Go away. That thing stays down there.
Like, why are they all connected to this? They call it the queen bee. Like, it reminded me of Hive Mind from Stranger Things. Like, why are they all connected? I don't know.
That's why they can't leave, is because they're physically, magnetically drawn to it, and that's why they can use Toothless as a radar. They can't.
I was going to say, okay, so I felt like maybe dragons, because it was like a volcano. I was like, maybe they need to live in like a volcano type area. That was, so I made the joke, and then I instantly was like, oh, maybe this is why.
They'll never give us a reason.
Yeah,
Well, we're going to
bulletproof
have to
writing.
pour through all sequels and 6
They'll-
TV spinoffs to figure out all the lore.
I'll
That's part of it.
sacrifice
Is they're
myself.
like, why can't the dragons leave here? That's like literally the plot of the next 3 movies.
The big dragon's name is Red Death. That's pretty fucking cool.
Ooh.
That's a great name. Although I don't think it's red. I think it's gray.
I don't either. Yeah, or like
Yeah.
dark blue. I don't
Dark-
know. Is
yeah,
that
gray.
right?
Yeah, I think it's like a dark bluish gray. Yeah. It's scary as hell. It looks like a mountain. I think it has 6 eyes. It's spiky. It's ginormous. It's literally larger than any of the dragons we've seen. And it has a tail that has a fucking wrecking ball on the end of it. So
Oh yeah, that's right.
Red Death is scary as shit.
This final battle is probably one of the standouts. Like, this is what I remember of this movie.
Yeah.
I would sit down anytime to watch this dragon battle.
Makes you kind of want to go to battle, but then not go to battle.
Yeah.
Like kind of like the flying montages.
It quickly made me realize how deadly literally these Vikings will be when they are all riding dragons. Like, they're deadly warriors as is. Give
You're
them
right.
mobility of a dragon and it's game over. They're going to take over the world, I
Right.
think.
Hey, that's why they made up number 2 and a number 3.
Yeah,
they
that's
gotta
what
have
happened.
villains.
If they've already conquered dragons by the end of this movie, what threat do they face?
Do you think there's, do
Could
you
they
think,
possibly
because
face?
it's called How to Train Your Dragon 2, 3, do you think they continue to train the dragons more things? Like, I feel like you said, they've mastered that.
We'll have to.
I gotta watch now, if I'm being honest. I'm intrigued enough that I will watch too. The worst part was I didn't know
100%.
what streaming platform this was on. Oh, I want to start rating these platforms. So I went to Netflix and they had literally Netflix had every single one
Yep.
besides the first one. I was shook. And so we found this on Amazon Prime. And holy shit, is Amazon Prime just a horrible app. The only thing they do that's amazing is when you pause it, they give you the voice cast of who's in the scene.
IMDb.
Yeah, that's the
Great
only good
touch.
thing.
It's amazing. It's really amazing if I'm being honest.
I'm intrigued in the sequels because Hiccup does age up, and he kind of turns into a stud. He's like pretty.
Well, do you see his dad? His dad was a stud.
I know, right? Someone had like side-by-side pictures of him and, oh gosh, John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Like The Office, him, and then,
I can see it. Yeah.
movie 1, Hiccup. Then, like, I don't know, some other one where he's got like a semi-scruff. Movie 2, Hiccup.
Yeah.
And then, like, the one where he's playing like some soldier or something. He's
Jack
full
Ryan.
beard. Yeah,
On
thank
Amazon
you.
Prime.
On Amazon
Yeah.
Prime.
Movie 3, Hiccup. I was like, all right, I kind of see it.
I saw a meme recently. It was Chris Pratt in Parks and Rec and John Krasinski in The Office. Them in those roles, and then them in their like Jack Ryan military guy. And it was like, we've got to stop this pipeline.
Like, stop trying to turn the untraditionally handsome man into the army dude who
Yeah.
tries to save the world.
I'm okay with it for Hiccup.
Yeah.
For medieval military men.
So, all right. Only because I'm looking at it right now, and I feel like this is a good thing to do before we wrap up. I want to. We've been reading some letterbox reviews of these movies and TV shows. So, I have just a couple. I'm hoping Evan has some as well.
I totally forgot to do.
It's a new segment,
So just-
people.
yeah.
So we just named it too. We're gonna call it hot takes on Letterbox. This one I want to bring up just because it could spark some conversation. This says so it's 5 stars. John Powell is one of the most underrated composers of our generation. The soundtrack was really good. By the end of the movie, I was humming like the tune
Yes.
of it all. And I didn't even, it's not like it's a Harry Potter or a Star Wars or whatever, but it was really good.
My letterbox review literally says, "Why do I cry every time that score plays?" So yeah,
I saw a TikTok of Brad Pitt in some interview, and they were asking him, when was the last time you cried? And he was like, not often, but I think the last time was when I watched this movie called How to Train Your
No.
Dragon.
right.
No way. Brad Pitt. At Brad Pitt, explain.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Do you not watch many movies, bro? Come on.
I mean, it is a good movie.
It's good. I definitely see where if I was in a different mood, I watched it like very, very early this morning. I may have cried, but I don't know. I don't know.
The animal trope gets me though.
questionable.
I think that's it. I don't know. The animal bond with people gets me every time.
I really think,
Yeah.
honestly, the part that would have made me tear up the most is like when Evan said, like when they dogpiled Toothless to the ground and they had like his head shoved down. I was like, oh my God, no.
You guys are missing the part where, sorry,
No.
I'm calling you out,
Do
where
it.
they defeat this big battle, and then his dad thinks like and Toothless appears with him under his wing. Then the next segment is he's in his house. This kind of like choked me up a bit. He like pulls over the covers to like try to step out of the bed, and he notices the end of the bed, 1 foot, peg leg.
Yeah.
And going back to like, oh my gosh, how the movie Luck didn't do a good job with facial expressions.
Yeah.
They don't really talk much in that like 20-second scene, but his facial expression on there, well, I mean, goosebumps. Like, oh.
You're right. That's the tear-inducing moment. I forgot. I was like, you're right.
okay.
That's a really like it's goosebumps.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, even just talking about it, like you said, it's a really good moment because not good because he lost his leg.
Yeah, the facial expressions without saying anything. He's just thinking over everything.
So
then
he's a
Toothless is
warrior
kinda
now.
Yeah. We're both wounded warriors.
Was his leg just literally blown off in the final explosion?
I don't know. They
against
didn't show
the
us.
Red Death. Just
Yeah.
fucking
I was
got
thinking, yeah, it was
napalmed?
burnt to crisp
I think,
or
yeah.
something.
Probably the fall,
Ugh.
which is even worse to think about. Yeah, it probably cracked. This is the biggest metaphor, and I totally missed it. They're both wounded animals, wounded
Yep.
warriors. Toothless and
Yep.
him both have something missing, and his appendage literally hooks into the thing that helps.
know.
Wow, the metaphor slapped me in the face, and I missed it. It's really good.
Good job.
Wow, really good. They're the same, but they need each other.
Yep.
So good.
I told you this
Yeah.
trope.
It's a
gets
great
me.
pick. No, I really get why people like this movie. That's why when I started, I didn't want what I was going to say to sound like I don't like this movie because I really enjoyed it. I literally, the first YouTube, I'll usually watch like a YouTube video or two, see what people are thinking about the movies or things we're doing. And the first one that pulled up across the title, it said perfection. And I was like, whoa. And it wasn't the only one, but that was the first one I saw. And I was just like, I didn't realize people held this in such high regard.
Right. I didn't until I started reading the letterbox reviews.
Yeah.
Holy
You know what?
moly.
Let me pull up another
Yeah,
one here.
so
I totally
skewing to
forgot
that.
about that. So, okay. So this one, 5 stars. The total reliance that Toothless and Hiccup have for each other. That shit is breathtaking, bro.
I love these.
Wow. Okay. 4 stars, which is weird. How to Train Your Dragon was a masterclass on script economy. In How to Train Your Dragon, Toothless says only 0 words across 2 hours, yet we know all about him, his life, his motivations, his worldview, his relationships, and what he thinks of most of the cast. I'm shocked it's 4 stars. Like, what does it take for this person? It's
Yeah.
5 stars.
I mean, I feel like I'm pretty picky too. Like when you were like, perfect movie, I'm like sitting here rattling my brain. What do I think's a perfect movie? Because I don't know. If I have one.
Ooh.
I don't know.
A perfect movie. That's tough to say. I have my
think one
favorite,
sticks
but I don't think
out.
that makes it perfect.
No, I know.
I think people would say something like Shawshank Redemption. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
That's a great movie, but I've never got. I mean, maybe it's because I didn't watch it when it
Yeah.
like came out. But
Were you
I've never-
alive when it came out? How old's that movie?
It's like the 90s.
Like 93.
okay,
we were
yeah.
like
You were like
1 years
1.
old.
Okay.
Brizard, I'm going to answer the question, but I texted you a letterbox review to read.
Yeah, let me read
it.
it
has
here.
to do with the score, and I can't recall the score, so I need you to look at that one for me. Perfect movie for me. I don't know, maybe Dark Knight's up there.
I knew you guys were
Yeah.
one of you were saying.
That's just like
Say it. I was going to say it. I actually, you know what, Evan? I'm blanking on it now. You've put the pressure on me. Courtney, do you know the score? Like, could you hum the score from the film right now? We can edit
Hold
this
on,
out.
hold on.
It's
Let me
okay
just
if you
read-
can't. We can.
I was just saying, you're gonna make me hum it.
no.
No,
Okay,
no. If you
I'll-
don't know it, it's fine.
I'll give you a clue
but
first.
I know this letterbox you're gonna read, and when you read it, then I'm gonna know it in my head.
It's-
Go ahead.
When the score goes dum 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 dee dum. Dum dum
Keep going.
dum.
Keep going. We have to drag it out.
Come on.
Da da da.
Our one musical expert.
I don't know the tune.
I do
But it's-
love when people, because I think we've all been there at one point. Have you ever tried to Google like a song, like a beat to a song or something? I did it one time and I felt like an instant idiot.
Right. Like, hey Siri, what's that song? Dum 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 dum.
Yeah, it was so bad. And so I do love when people type out just like beats and humming. That's a good one. This one, 4 stars again. What does it take for that last one? Toothless and Hiccup deserve the world, and it's like a bunch of crying emojis. Wow, I love dragons. 4.5 stars. I'm really curious what people think when they go through and rate. I'm going to have to start rating movies. I've really only been reading reviews. I'm going to start rating them myself as well. You just gestured to all of me. And then, you know what? It's funny because he uses it as the insult the first time. He's like, you're just so... And you just gestured to all of me. But then at the end, his dad goes, it turns out what this village needed was a little more... He goes, you just gestured to all of me. It's really...
It's a nice bookend.
It's a good bookend. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's good. When I heard it the second time, I was like, oh, they got me good there.
If you're looking at the same review that I'm looking at, the rest of it says Brad Pitt was fucking right. A tearjerker of a film. This was April 1st, 2022, so I don't know if that interview was recent.
I didn't go far. Yeah, that is what the rest of it says. Wow.
It's probably the father-son dynamic because he's got a bunch of kids with Angelina Jolie, right?
One of those kids had to like How to Train Your Dragon at one point.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Brad Pitt's like, yeah, I'd say the last one is this film, How to Train Your Dragon. Also, calling it a film is so much more prestigious than a movie.
I love that.
Oh, yeah, this film, I don't know if you've heard of it.
Here's what I will say. I think this one stands out above a lot of DreamWorks movies because DreamWorks, I would say, typically falls into like more of like a comedy. This one really feels like an adventure movie.
Okay. I think you could just throw
is
adventure
really
onto family comedy, though, also. Like, this is a...
Okay,
but
the
I was
comedy
literally like, where are
takes-
you going with this?
It's not like Shrek where they like crack
Yeah.
jokes or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
like,
that's
it is.
true.
It is a funny movie.
Or like
You're
Sunny
right.
with a
Yeah,
Chance
it's not
of
like a
Meatball.
parody like Shrek. It's... Yeah, I get what you're saying here. And it is really good. The one thing I was curious about as well, and, I guess I don't know a whole lot about Viking mythology. Do they have any relationship to dragons, like, in their sort of lore? Or did they just really take these two aspects and kind of just combine them?
They've got it. I feel like.
You think
there's gotta
so?
be yeah.
I feel like they were like sea monsters and things of that nature, but I don't know. I was wondering halfway through the movie, I was like, I wonder if that's like a common thing. Did Vikings like often tell stories of dragons? Maybe. Like, I beat a dragon and I watched my grandpa do it. And now he's in Valhalla with Thor and Odin. They mentioned Thor and Odin in this movie by name.
Brizard just froze.
Brizard's frozen.
Brizard's frozen. Oh, my god.
Oh,
Can
no.
you hear us?
I can hear
You're
you.
back.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. That was really weird.
That was really weird.
I got scared because I wasn't frozen on my end.
Yeah, my Viking knowledge probably starts and ends with
Thor. Yeah.
Well, I was about
That's
to.
fine.
Okay, so I was frozen. I was frozen, but I said they name dropped Thor and Odin in this movie.
Yeah, she was like
Son of Odin
or something.
Yeah,
or
and
something
then
like
he's
that.
like, "Oh, thank Thor."
I did not hear the Thor of it.
It was
though.
his
I heard
dad when he
Odin.
found out that he was into all the Viking things, and it was right before the awkward silence. It was a great scene. But I was like, good old Thor. What time period is this? I was like, he probably is about to be an Avenger.
Yeah.
This could be a good segue, but it's entirely a tangent. So before I go on it, do we want to give our closing thoughts on this film?
Yeah, let's do it. I'll start. Let me start. Okay, my closing thoughts. I think that this movie is definitely one of DreamWorks' better projects. It's got a lot of heart. It's funny. Got a ton of dragons. A lot of pros to this movie. As far as like computer animation goes, I think it's one of the stronger ones. So this is definitely a movie, watch with your kids. You could watch on your own and enjoy sometime. It was really enjoyable to go back and watch again, even though I haven't seen it in a while. And even though it wasn't like something I had like a nostalgia factor for, where I saw it in theaters and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, I really enjoyed watching it still. So I know there's a ton of diehard fans out there. I didn't know there was so many till recently, but now I know there are. And so I do definitely understand why people love this movie as much as they do. And it's been fun watching it. It's been fun talking about too.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, I kind of completely missed the boat on this. I think I watched it a couple of years later. I didn't know it was so hugely popular. Browsing Netflix, I've seen the thumbnails for the TV series or spinoffs. It's a really great watch, and like what I said earlier, this one feels more heartfelt than I think we tend to think of DreamWorks as being capable of. I usually attribute them to like Kung Fu Panda, Shrek, more comedic stuff like that, and I think that's why this one stands out. If it's ever on, I will leave it on because it's it's a really fun adventure action packed movie, and it's that father-son dynamic. I don't know, something about the chip on the shoulder gets Brad Pitt's tears going. So there's something to it. Something is special about this movie. Definitely need to watch 2 and 3. I don't know about the TV spinoffs, but I'll commit to those at least.
This was just our subtle way of telling Courtney Brad Pitt said no to being on the podcast. So we asked you second.
So we went with the second best.
Yeah.
His schedule's a little full.
Yeah.
All right, Courtney, final thoughts on How to Train Your Dragon.
So, I mean, I've said it multiple times. I'm a sucker for a wounded animal and becoming friends and the journey to get there, and just kind of like all the other hidden meanings in this, and just visually. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That score comes on when he's doing that, like the flying bit,
Dum-dum,
and I
dum-de-dum.
get there.
Dum.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you guys said, I'm not usually a DreamWorks person, but this one always just sticks out to me. I mean, the character Toothless, iconic. Next generations will be watching this. 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah. Letterboxd said it best. Toothless had 0 lines, yet we know so much about him.
This is a quick follow-up question before I go into my next tangent. So we've talked about this human-animal trope, and I think that is what's so powerful. I'm trying to think of other examples of it, and the best I can think of is like Spirit the Stallion. Do you guys remember that movie?
Oh,
Spirit. It was about like
Stallion?
a Native American who like tames a wild horse. It was a 2D animated
Away.
film.
Ringing a bell, bro.
Oh my gosh!
Sorry.
No way.
No, not Spirited Away. It's no, it is Spirit the Stallion, isn't it?
I think that's what it's called.
He's
I've
yellow.
never seen it,
He's
though.
yellow with a black mane.
You've definitely seen it. It's
Yes,
Spirit
it's
Stallion
got an
of the
iconic
Cimarron.
soundtrack.
Maybe.
Oh gosh, that's not.
I think
would've
of like too many like
remembered.
live action things.
Matt Damon is voices Spirit. What the fuck?
What? Wait, it doesn't talk though. I
I
thought.
don't know what's happening. Maybe that's okay.
Wait,
I'm gonna.
Does
This
he make
is
the horse sounds?
maybe. I'm texting this to both of you because I know you guys have heard of this movie.
So that's another really popular like movie score too. People on TikTok use that score all the
I've ever
time.
seen this or heard of this,
Oh.
Evan.
This is the cover I remember, not the other one.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my
it's
god.
the
Okay.
same.
It's a
Oh, I mean,
DreamWorks. It's
It's a
DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh, gosh,
that's
it
the only
was.
example I could think of. But I was trying to think of more movies in this vein.
DreamWorks has the market cornered. Before we get into any news, Evan, what are you? What's your tangent? I want to hear this. I'm excited now. Hopefully, it wasn't about Spirit the Stallion.
No. We're talking about Thor and that being our primary reference point for any knowledge of Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Courtney, I know you have been on a bit of a journey over the course of the last few years during the pandemic, watching the MCU movies front to back.
Yeah.
How far along in that journey are you, and what are the standouts?
Well, okay. Hold on. I have a note.
This is important.
Hold on.
This is important.
Okay. So I started with I think is the recommended timeline. I was unfortunately an X-Men stan. So I'm an X-Men girl, watched the cartoon, like fell in love with it. Unfortunately, also really loved the live actions, even though they're awful.
Oh, no, I
But,
love
1 and 2 were great. I loved 3.
I like
yeah.
Oh, I like
X2
this
and
one.
the first one. Oh, so
Yeah.
good. But my standouts are, hold on. I'm on my letter.
No, it's okay.
So I'm almost as far. I've watched almost all of them except Shang-Chi, Black
Skip.
Widow,
Skip.
and there's another one. What's the other new one?
The
Eternals?
Spider-Man,
Watch.
Eternals,
No,
Doctor Strange.
that one. Yes, the new Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Skip.
And the only TV show I've watched is WandaVision.
That's a great
Loki's
one, yeah.
good. Loki's good.
Loki's
Also,
good.
I was gonna say, and the reason I was also getting into MCU because I'm an X-Men stan is because I heard they were kind of combining the universes finally, and now they have ownership of it. Hence,
It's happening slowly.
Wanda and Quicksilver in. I like that movie. Whatever one they appear in, is that Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved. I don't know. A lot of people don't like it. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
It was good.
I really enjoyed. Actually, I kind of enjoyed one of the Ant-Mans. Kind of weird.
Ant-Man's
Black
good.
Panther, I love. Black Panther, I really like the universe. Like, I think that's fascinating. And then I'm also an Iron Man girly. I know.
Iron
I have
Man
a
1
type.
is really good. Iron Man
Yeah.
2 and 3 kind of lose me a bit, but
Yeah.
Iron Man, the character, is amazing. Any
Yeah.
movie.
So
he's-
Iron Man 1 has, like, I watched that right when it came out. What was it,
2008.
2008?
Yeah.
I remember watching that, loved it. To be honest, and a lot of them don't stand out to me. WandaVision, though, really stood out to me.
Yeah.
Once again, I don't know if it's because I'm an X-Men stan. I don't know. But
Well, it's coming. It's coming slowly. No spoilers, but they've been slowly dropping hints of the word mutant and things that are coming up. So
that's
who
why I had to
knows?
watch
Yeah,
it.
I love X-Men too, so I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see who's going to play Wolverine. But
Daniel Radcliffe.
yeah, hey, I would love that. I
Okay,
saw that.
I kind of do like
I
it.
think it's
I'm not
great.
gonna lie.
And it would
Because
be
he's short and hairy. I don't know.
it
I
would be
kinda
so
love it.
iconic just for him to go from one iconic character to
Yeah.
another like that, to really see what he could do with it.
Yeah, from Weird
And-
Al to Wolverine. I do want to watch that.
I do too. No, that was a
I'll
good joke.
100% watch it.
So this is actually a great segue. Let's go from one struggling superhero franchise to the one that's somehow struggling way worse. So we've been on DC / Warner Brothers / HBO Max watch on Two Dudes Watch Cartoons. Evan, hit us with the big headline, please.
So it started with the cancellation of Batgirl, scrapping the movie for a tax write-off. They pulled almost 40 movies and series from the HBO Max platform.
Mostly
to
animated.
write off a lot of animated stuff to save money. It saves them from having to pay royalty payments to everyone involved. So very quickly, Warner Brothers Discovery is becoming this villain in the industry. This was all in the interest of saving $3 billion. And Warner Brothers Discovery, since this, has dropped $20 billion in market value, like stock valuation. I really hope it turns around and some of these shows can continue to live on through other streamers or what have you. But yeah, WB Discovery is a shit show right now. It's not looking great.
It's
Ew.
mind-boggling.
Wow.
It's really, and that was what was one thing that really confused people when these cancellations first started. Is they're like not even straight to streaming. Like we're never gonna see it, and it's all greed. It's all tax write-offs. Like we will never see all this hard work, this art that people put together for our entertainment. For a tax write-off. So it's a shitty feeling. So that's the big news. Just how and like they canceled Batman Caped Crusader, which was something they were working on, and it is trying to be bought by Apple, Hulu, and Netflix already. Like as soon as they dropped it, like other places are very interested in some of these projects.
Well, that series was going to be produced by Bruce Timm, who did the original 90s Batman, the animated series. Critically acclaimed. He was going to come back. He did the Justice League stuff. Like, this dude's a legend. And they're like not interested. So they're shopping it around. The latest development in the Warner Brothers debacle is, I guess money is so tight that they only have enough to release 2 more movies this calendar year. And it's going to be Black Adam.
It's almost September.
Yeah, Black Adam, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Don't Worry, Darling, starring Florence Pugh and Harry Styles, which is also going through its own media shitstorm right
Yes.
now.
It is going
Yes.
through
It's
its
having
own
a rough
nightmare.
go.
Wow, that's not
Maybe worse than the Flash.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we're not going to get into that because that is unfortunately too not animated adjacent. But you should look up this drama with this movie. What's it called again? Don't Worry, Darling.
Don't
with
Worry, Darling.
Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, and Olivia Wilde's the director. Holy crap! I feel like it gets wilder and wilder every time I hear something about it. But so
I mean-
which means At the beginning of this year, I think it's so funny. They were like, you're going to get Batman, Aquaman, Black Adam, and The Flash this year. And now we're literally only getting Batman and Black Adam. Like, how did these sons of bitches, I hate them. So, God, that's most of the news. It's infuriating.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys put yourselves through the DC disappointment. I mean, I guess I can. I have no reason to say that because look at me. I like it.
Yeah.
It's so bad. We
right.
want them to succeed so. Well, it comes from a place of care. Like we want so much from them.
Well, here's the thing: if making money is the concern, I don't know that "Don't Worry, Darling" is the movie to do big numbers. And I hate saying that because I want more non-superhero stuff in theaters.
I kind of disagree, though. I think because it's the Harry stands, people are people are gonna see it. I'm planning on seeing it.
Same with Nikki. Nikki's gonna see it
could be wrong.
Yeah, I know a lot of girls that.
But there's a ton of drama. I want to see it too. I do want to see it, but the drama sounds wild. Like, right. And I do like Florence Pugh. She was the best part of.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, yeah.
Two dudes watch "Don't Worry, Darling" coming.
That's what's up next. I think that's about it. Evan, do you have any other news? Anything else you wanted to mention?
No, I just wanted to get into the WB of it all because unfortunately we've hitched our wagon to that horse. I don't know what to say. And we're going down with the ship at this point, you know.
We're going down.
I feel it.
We originally were going to cover Harley Quinn with Courtney. But seeing as it's weekly release, we wanted to have her on sooner.
Yeah, we'll circle back. Let me finish it. I want to get through all 3 seasons. We'll circle back and we'll cover it again because it's really good.
Yeah. That being said, how many of the DC movies is there? Do you feel any sort of attachment to any of the DC movies?
Evan's reaching. Oh my.
Okay, me and our friend Cam's just watched the Batman.
Oh yeah,
I loved it. But I also, I was never a Twilight person. I feel something for him in this.
Oh yeah,
Batman.
I did too.
They plucked emo girls and they're did test runs and they're which one are you most attractive to? And all us emo girls were that one. So I've seen that, and I've seen all the Dark Knight, all those trilogies.
Nothing in recent years though.
Okay.
But I'm sorry.
That's
okay.
No,
I wouldn't
I don't think I've
expect
seen anything else.
Don't apologize.
Yeah.
Getting through Marvel's a slog because especially if you're doing them back to back but not back to back, but in such short time concession.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was recently on Stark Wars, our good friend podcast, where they talk about Marvel stuff, and I said I think Marvel's actually struggling with oversaturation at this point. It's too much. Whereas there's no hype.
I'm overwhelmed.
There's no build up for something. There's no excitement.
And I will say, after watching basically almost all the MCU stuff, and then going and rewatching Dark Knight, rewatching Batman, I kind of like how more adult DC can be.
That's why we have
hope. They just did it, I know. If they just did it right,
It's coming.
MCU is kind of a bit too childish for me.
It's like popcorn stuff.
You're speaking our language. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. Although I will say Christian Bale, a former Batman, he was great in the new Thor: Love and Thunder. He was the standout.
Yes, he was. But sometimes they're just too, not unicorns and butterflies, but I'm superheroes need to be dark for me.
Could you imagine how much, the Batman did phenomenal at the box office. Didn't break $1 billion, but still did very well. But could you imagine if the Batman came out in 2009, 2010 when Tumblr was massive? Robert Pattinson would have fucking killed. That's all you would have seen for years. All day on Tumblr.
Evan, I'm still on Tumblr, and sometimes I
log in every time.
Tumblr? What? No way.
Me and Evan are friends on Tumblr.
We are. I logged in the other day.
So long.
You probably see the stuff I repost. Oh my god.
I logged in the other day and I saw one of the things you reshared was at the top, and I was like, oh damn, she really
still on Tumblr? Wow. I cannot believe you two are still on Tumblr. I used to be a very big Tumblr, and I haven't thought about that app in so long. Wow. Good for you guys for fighting, for sticking with it.
Yeah. I got nothing else, no other news to talk about. What about you, Alex?
This was fun. I have nothing else. This was really good. I am really glad we ended up picking this because I don't know the next time or when I would get to watch this again. So like I said, I'm really glad you picked this, Courtney. I'm really glad you were here. It was nice seeing you. I know that you're always
love seeing
listening
you
along with
guys.
us. So glad we could get you on here to, like I said, cover something so fun. And you're doing well. How's everything with you? You and Daryl doing well?
Yeah, good. I mean, just living with a dog and a cat, living our best life, and
It's great. Love that.
you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking this with us.
Thanks,
do you have
guys.
anything you want to say to everyone? Any social media? Anything you would want to tell the audience?
I will not be giving out my Tumblr handle.
I will be. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't, because then they can follow me.
Then find her.
Yeah. That's funny.
No, just thanks for having
Yeah.
me. And like I said, great episode, you guys. And just keep it up. You guys do great work.
Oh,
so.
stop making me blush. Thank you. Oh, wait. Oh, my God.
Bring us
I'm the one
home,
who
Alex.
ends things now. So hold on. I'm not used to this sort of responsibility. I have a whole notepad. Let me pull it up here. Okay. Listen, if you want to listen to more Two Dudes, check out our other episodes on Apple, Spotify. We are also on YouTube now. Please go subscribe to our YouTube. We're getting a lot of traction over there lately. It's actually a lot of fun. We have a very extensive catalog of things in the past that we've covered now. So if you like anything animated, we have talked about something you enjoy. Go check it out. You can follow us at Two Dudes Watch Cartoons on both Instagram and TikTok. That TikTok's been on fire. And we are at Two Dudes we are at Two Dudes Watch on Twitter. So please don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts as well. Thank you so much for coming, and we will see you guys next time.
See you.
Why is it not live? It's not
God
live.
damn it. All
It's
right,
not
whatever.
Two dudes watch cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to play the outro music.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to stop the recording there.